Just sitting here eating chocolate chips, in case anyone was wondering. Like straight chocolate chips from a bag. Hello everyone, welcome back, or if you're new here, just welcome in general. Come in, grab a chair or pillow, a poof. Today we are going to be playing around. We are going to be diving in deep on the first ever launch from Tati Westbrook, the Tati Beauty Volume 1 Textured Neutrals Palette. I have been on YouTube for a really long time and I've known Tati for a long time, so I'm very excited for her. Not gonna get emotional. I'm blaming it on pregnancy. 24 weeks along, everyone. Looks like I swallowed a cantaloupe. I've known Tati a really long time. We filmed together. You guys may have seen those videos in the past, and we've seen each other grow in this industry. So it's a really exciting moment for me to be able to sit down and see her makeup brand in front of me. I'm sure many of you, if not all of you, already know who she is and are subscribed, but if not, link will be down below. She started this brand. She also has her vitamin line, Halo Beauty, but this is the first within sort of the makeup realm that she's launched, and this is a neutral eyeshadow palette. And I didn't want this to just be my own questions and my own experience with this palette. I really wanted to ask you guys and bring you in on this experience as well. So I asked you on Insta story if you had any questions, and you had a lot still going. So I wanted to answer as many of those questions as well when I'm kind of going through applying this product, swatching it, testing it, playing with it, testing it against other eyeshadow brands, things like that, and just really give you like an overarching review of what this palette is all about. So very excited to open this up. I have not opened it. I'm very proud of myself. I am excited. Okay, so before we zoom in and actually apply it to the eyes, let's open this up. Get into this book here. Ooh, pretty. Okay, makeup, believe, beautiful is your own story to tell. We have the palette here, and we have a little note from Tati. Oh, that's cute. Rachel, the YouTube world has changed. I'm grateful to look to you and see the same warm heart I met so many years ago. You're a warm part of this community, and I adore you. That's very sweet, Tati. Thank you. And I can only imagine the hand cramps that you had after writing all those. So let's get into the actual palette itself. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So first of all, palette, it's nice, and I would say, I just hit myself in the collarbone with it. Wow. I would say, okay, what does this compare? It feels more on the heavier side. I do want to compare it to another palette that I have of similar like size, I guess. It's heavier than the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette in terms of like heft. What's this? Nomad? No, that's not even close. Yeah, it's way heavier than the e.l.f. palettes. It's got some like heft to it, which I appreciate. It's got the nice matte front to it, the textured bronze on the front, which mirrors the whole textured neutrals element of this volume 1 eyeshadow palette. So let's open this up. Got a nice magnetic front. Oh, and a mirror. Guys, look at that big mirror though. Oh, I'm like blinding you. I'm really sorry. Okay, so let's just dive into this. First of all, I have not seen anything about the formulas or anything. I wanted it to be a very my own experience with it without having known a lot of the backstory to it, though I will watch Tati's video, which I assume is probably going up today. So from my perspective, looking at this palette and the way that it's organized, we have 4 different formulas or different textures to play around with. We have glitters, metallic, sequin, and matte. And then across here, we have a bunch of different columns, and they have different names for different color stories here. So each one is sort of, you could mix and match, and they all seem to, just from first glance, kind of meld and play with each other really well. But you could also just play with the one kind of color story and work your way across. Color story, I get it. Get it? Because it's a book, color story. Can you tell I came from a marketing background? Yeah, no, I love this stuff. So one thing off the bat that I really want to do is I want to play around with each of these textures within one color family and kind of compare and contrast. A lot of the questions I was getting is like, what's the sequin formula like, and how does that compare to a metallic? What's the difference? How much or less glittery is it than like the glitter? What does it feel like, and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna get into all of that, and I feel like the only way that I can really truly swatch this properly is to pull out the full-on Tati arm swatch. I feel like there's no other way, right? I mean, that just feels fair. So again, I have not touched any of these yet. I will do a close-up so you guys can see the actual formula and how it looks like in the studio lights, and kind of the differences. Just looking at it and seeing all of the shadows kind of laid out, I do see a distinct difference in pan between the different formulas. It doesn't seem to be like I'm not sure why these are separated, or this one looks more metallic or anything like that. Like, it very much looks like a fairly clear, distinct difference to me. But again, that can change when you actually swatch something, so let's do that. So I'm gonna start by swatching them dry. Again, I don't have any like primers or anything on my skin, obviously. So it's going to perform a little bit differently when I actually apply it to my eyes, and I expect that. But just from a swatching perspective, I want to feel it on my hands, having tested out a whole bunch of different products and price ranges and brands. I kind of want to, I just want to play. Is that so wrong? So in terms of where I'm swatching everything, I think I'm going to stick to color stories versus like all glitters, all sequin, etc., etc., and go about it that way. This feels like the most structured review of life. So I'm going to start with the memory row, which is very smoky, very gray tones. Okay, I'm already really excited. So that is the black. Ooh, where do I want to swatch this? Honestly, I wasn't prepared to get this palette today. So I'm pretty sure I have like self-tanner streaks all over me. I barely got my hair into braid. I don't even know if they're even. It's fine. It's totally fine. I'm gonna start with black right there. So I did sort of swirl it 2.5 times in the pan, getting a little bit of fallout down here, but that is the black right there. In looking at it on my finger, it is definitely matte, but it almost has like a not a sheen. It's not glittery. It's not metallic, but it has like a slickness, like an oil slick kind of feel to it, which is interesting. Let's go into sequin next, which I'm very curious about because I've never heard of anything referred to as sequin, and I'm really excited. It's beautiful. Tati! Oh, I will be zooming in on all of these, by the way. You're just gonna have to deal with me being really excited for a minute. So this one, it feels like it is a matte base, and then it has flecks of glitter in it. Very micro glitter. This one has, it looks like gold, purple, blue, and silver kind of interwoven into it in a very soft way. Then we have the metallic, which is a little bit creamier. This one is interesting. This one has much more blue to it. It has a lot more glitter to it. It's got some purples in it too, but there's a distinct difference between all of these, which I love. I expect no less from Tati. I need to start getting out all of my, where are my Neutrogena wipes? Okay, get these ready. Can't have, overlap. Any swatching here. All right, and now into the glitter. I want to feel what that feels like. Ooh, that was really nice. That's not at all like I wanted to see how it was comparing to the ColourPop glitters, which are like a pressed glitter formula. These ones feel a little bit more put together, more solidified, versus the ColourPop ones, when I dip my finger into it, it crumbles very easily, so you have to be very careful with them. So I was very careful when I was like dipping my finger to it, but it feels more compressed, like there is some pigment behind this as well. Swatch that one. Yeah, that is like full on shiny glitter. I love it. So you can see right there, like it's only gone halfway across because it is very glitter based. So it's something that I would definitely pack onto the lid versus like sweep across, just to kind of keep everything cemented to the lid. But you can see those are the 4 different colors there, and they are all very different. Hands are clean. Next row. I am gonna be here all day. Oh my gosh, almost got that all over my clothes. I mean, it's fine, it's glitter, but still. Now moving into the next row here, we have Ritual, like chocolate brown, but definitely more neutral. It's neutral. It's very neutral to me. Almost cool. I don't want to say it's cool. It's not cool tone. What is the shade? There's a hint of warmth there, but it still skews a little bit cool to me, at least in pans. So let's put this on and see what it looks like. So again, the mattes, they don't feel chalky in any way, which I like. Let's put that one on first. I feel like I need to have a very light hand with these mattes. I feel like they're going to be really blendable on the eyes, But I've talked about this so many times. Sometimes swatching things can be very different than when you apply them to the eyes. So that right there is the matte shade. You can see it's very centered, pigmented here, and kind of trails out. I was more careful with this time versus the matte black, so less fallout. Moving on to the sequin. I love the name, like the shade or the texture sequin. I like that name. That was cool. Ooh, pretty. Let's load that up. I want to see what happens if I layer this one. Ooh, more pretty. So that one looks like it has a lot of flecks of gold in it, which is really nice. It's a little bit warmer than the matte. So they are a little different, which is interesting in terms of even the undertone underneath. It's not even just like, here's the matte shade, but with some gold glitter in it. It very much is a slightly different tone. Now going into the metallic shade, I still can't get over how creamy those metallics are. They're really beautiful. Ugh, obsessed. That one is definitely really like coppery. Do you see how like distinct all three of those are? And then the glitter, last but not least. And again, distinct, but still part of that whole family, that whole story right there. You can see it has it has a ton of different colored glitters in them. There's copper, there's gold, looks like a little green, a little like pale, like champagne almost undertone to it as well, but like so rich. It's so multifaceted. I love that. Now going into the next row, we have Story, which is very warm, very orange based. There we go. Oh no, that's just a freckle. So in looking at it, it definitely has more of like it's almost terracotta in shade. It has that orange base, but it's a little bit ruddier, a little redder. Ruddy sounds bad. I didn't mean it that way. Ruddy is such a terrible word, but like it has this nice like grunginess to it. It's not like a straight like pumpkin orange, you know? Now let's go on to the Sequin Formula. I would say that the Sequin Formula and the matte formula feel the most similar to each other. In terms of the texture when you're swatching them. And then the metallic one is really creamy, and then the pressed glitters almost. I'm not 100% sure if they are exactly pressed glitters. I don't have any information on this other than what Tati has posted on her Instagram or the launch party or something like that. But the metallics are much creamier, which makes sense just in terms of formulation. And then the glitters have that little hint of creaminess, but then like a ton of pressed glitter in there as well. So this one feels very similar to the matte in terms of undertone. It feels a little punchier, I want to say, in terms of the color. And it has that gold glitter, like micro fine glitter to it as well, which is really pretty. And then let's do the metallic underneath, which almost looks like almost peachy. Like kind of coppery. Yeah, this is fun. Should get more in depth on one product at a time more often. That right there is the glitter. It has, I'm trying to like see it on my arm. It seems to skew a little bit more brown, but it still has that that red base to it, which makes it kind of tie into this family very well of colors. But all very distinct to me. Now going into Soothe, and this feels very much where I would spend majority of my time on like an everyday kind of a wear. A lot of the questions that I was getting on Instagram are all around like, how would a beginner wear this? Or do you recommend this as someone who doesn't have a lot of makeup and is branching out into makeup? Is it a good starter kit? Like those kinds of questions. So I want to make sure that I'm addressing those while I'm going through this. It feels it has a lot of like yellow undertones to it, which work really well for me, which is why I'm drawn to it. I'm literally just gonna be here all night. I need to hurry it up, Rachel. You know what it is? Sequin feels like a starter for glitters. Like if you're new to the whole like glitter realm, this is like your gateway. You start with the mattes. They're nice, they're easy every day. You want like a touch of something that just, it feels like a matte, but it has like a little sparkle to it. You go into the sequin and then you're like, you know what? I really like that. That was fun. Then you get into metallic and then you're like, boom, glitter. So we have sequin, we have metallic under there as well. I want to compare it. I'm just comparing. It's a terrible pose, Rachel. Hi. I'm trying to compare it, this kind of color family to the more chocolatey brown Story over here. This one definitely is more yellow. It's more warm to me. Oh my gosh. I think this glitter might be my favorite one. She did a great job just making sure that all of the different glitters, all the different mattes, everything has its own story to tell. and they're not all the same. Oh yeah, that one's my favorite. Can I play favorites this early? I don't know. Oh, she is popping. Okay, and then oh no, not the last row. Where are we at? We got another 2 here, Rachel. I switched too soon to the other shoulder. It's fine, we'll make it work. So now we have Aura, which is very creamy, very ivory toned. This I'm kind of curious about, this matte shade, because oftentimes they are too dark on me. It is not too dark. It is not too dark. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's not. It is a creamy, almost a pinky base to it. Then we're going right underneath with the sequin. Forgot what I was talking about there for a second. That one is a little bit more like peachy, I want to say. I want to layer that one again. It feels like it has like micro flecks of purples and like coppers in there. It's really nice. Metallic under that. Ooh, my goodness gracious. The glitter as part of this particular row, I just swatched it in my hand, but it is the one that feels the most distinct from the rest of the colors within that one column, because it looks almost like multicolored. Like I see flecks of green and purple and orange and blue, like all sorts of colors in there. So that's the color right there. Definitely the most distinct from the other ones, if that makes sense. But you can see when you put it on, the way that it reflects light, it does pick up on a lot of the ivory tones from the mattes and the sequins. That is so cool. All right, last row. This is the Poet row. We have the purpley burgundy kind of row here. Oh, I swatched that one way too aggressively. Ooh, look at that. Wowza. Looked like I cut myself. Wow, I'm not at all swatching this in a straight line. Do you see this? What is that? And I want to say this again from the beginning. Swatching mattes is not the greatest idea. They swatch typically, unless you like pack them down properly, they don't swatch great because it's a different formula. It's a drier formula. Let's see that one. Ooh, it almost looks like the matte, but like wet. That's the difference I feel. Metallic. That one has that same sort of like purpley shift to it. Then we have the glitter. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that, guys. Got all the swatches on my arm. Very proud of myself. I am now full Tati. Got glitter on myself too. Good job, Rachel. So what do we think of like the story thus far and like how she's presented all of these? Like I feel like she has made it cohesive while still adding some pops, some interest with the textures, with the burgundies, with the orangey terracotta tones, like everything. It feels like everything is kind of spoken for here. Okay, now we're zoomed in. Got some lip balm on. The lips were getting a little crusty. And now I want to dive into some more of your questions as we get into the application of the shadows. One of the ones, there are like 3 big questions that I got asked a lot of, but also a couple of different ones that I also want to address. Number 1 is regarding the glitters and what they're like in terms of fallout on the eyes. So we will address that once I actually get to putting them on my eyes. You can see there, like that is it applied without any primer at all. I am going to apply it with a glitter primer because that's what I would do for any glitter, but definitely not as crumbly as the ColourPop ones. That's like the most direct, I guess, comparison that I have. The other primary question I get is how much fallout is there? Again, swatching on the arms, I kind of wanted to take a look at the colors, see what they actually looked like, and kind of compare and contrast them, like from a first impression kind of a standpoint. But we will see what it's like when you actually apply it on the eyes and see if there's any fallout under the eyes, because I have like fully done the rest of my face. There's no going back from this. And then, oh, this is a good one. Okay, the other question I got, it was how big are the pans? Okay, so this is the Sunrise palette from Natasha Denona, which is like what, $100 and something versus Tati's there. So you can see that Tati's are like a bit bigger there, and also round, which is also different, but you can see there. Another comparison would be, let's look at it versus ColourPop here. This is the ColourPop Whatever palette and Tati's palette. So you can see there, again, like the size of the pan is actually quite a bit bigger. And then the other thing was just in terms of like wearability for someone who is either new to makeup or you go to school or to work every day, like how wearable is this entire palette versus like day versus night? How can you amp it up? How can you make it simple? Can you go in both realms? So I'm going to play around with it some today and kind of talk about that. But I will also on my Instagram on Insta story, I will put up another like look using this palette, so you guys can go and check that out. I will continue to talk about my experience since I like literally just got this. What would it be when this video goes up? Yesterday. So I will continue to talk about my experience. If you guys have additional questions after watching this video, you can ask me on Instagram and I will answer them there as well. But yeah, let's like dive into this. So I'm gonna do Smashbox Lid Primer on one eye, kind of just get a nice base going there. And then on the other eye, I just have a little bit of the foundation from my face as well as a little bit of powder. So again, just kind of want to compare and contrast, see if the primer does anything and makes the application better, that kind of thing. And then I will be using a glitter glue as well for when I apply the glitter. Spoiler, I am using glitter. I will be using I'm gonna try and get as many shades on my eyeball as possible. I have all clean brushes here. I'm very proud of myself. So let's start with these matte shades down here. And I just kind of want to I want to start with Aura. So this like ivory tone. I'm just gonna apply that. Whoa. I don't know if that actually was on camera. Hopefully it was, but like I went like this to it and like it's really showing up on the brush. Again, thank you Tati for the giant mirror. So for those of you that are maybe my shade of skin tone, this is what this shade looks like. It is very much, I would say it's blending in. It's a little bit more pink, if you can see that, on my eye. It's brightening it. It feels like a good, like everyday kind of a shade. It does feel different from this eye to this eye. Like I am noticing that it's there. Sometimes with these like matte ivory tones, you're just like, did I apply something? Did I not apply it? I don't know. But like I can see it, and then we'll apply it to the other eye that does not have a like traditional primer on it. Or maybe it does have the traditional primer. Foundation and powder, that feels fairly traditional. I just kind of wanted to put that on and just see what that looked like. All right, I can see it. Makes me happy. Now I'm going to go into the shade that I feel like I'm going to reach for the most often, which is this matte shade from the Soothe variety. So you can see I have pat my brush into it. That is what it looks like now. This feels no different than if I took a different brush and tapped it into a Natasha Denona. Yeah, same thing. Get that little bit kind of fluffed up, but nothing crazy. It's a different brush though. Leave that over there. And I'm just going to put this into the crease and we're going to get into how blendable it is. So soft. Like the effect is really pretty. Like this feels like a shade I would just like, that would be what I would wear. Like boom, and like, oh no, that's a lie. I would also choose probably like, I'm really curious about this Sequin Formula and what that looks like compared to metallic. So I'm probably gonna wear both, because why not? I mean, we're here, right? It is blending really smoothly on the eyes, guys. Like it's, sometimes I'll need a transition shade or something that kind of breaks up a line that's caused in a crease like right here. You don't need that at all for this one. I always find it so exciting when somebody like in the YouTube world launches a new product. I have so much pride in my soul for all of them, even if I've never met them before, because there's a lot of pressure to create a really good product, and it feels like more pressure than just like the average brand. Like you are putting yourself on that brand and the quality of it, and there's a lot riding on that. And so I have a lot of respect for individuals that launch their own makeup lines and really put themselves out there for that. I normally wouldn't like just go right into the under eye, but I kind of wanted to see how it looked if I was like just gonna make this into a natural look, which I'm not. But if I was just gonna do like an easy breezy everyday kind of a thing, you know, with the arm swatches. Yeah, no, I like that. I think I'm gonna go in with this one. This is the one that I would normally go for, like if it was an everyday type of thing. Oh, pigment, my friend. So much pigment. Okay, so the glitter is very subtle in this particular one. I'm just sort of like packing it on. It is much more subtle on this particular shadow anyway. Still a really pretty base. Like clearly have not blended this very well right now. And I'm like missing spots and stuff, but like just in terms of like the color, they kind of go together And then there's like this little hint, like a hint of shimmer. But underneath it, there's like a very rich matte base to it. So it does pack on a lot of color there. I'm gonna go into Story. I wanna pick up that terracotta shade. And I just wanna warm up the crease and just see how the color changes, how they blend together, how they play, you know? Ooh, this is fun. I am enjoying myself right now. Oh, that's rich right there. And now let's blend. Cannot stress enough how blendable these mattes are. Reporting back, they're really nice. Now I think I want to put on one of the metallic shades, and I think I want to go with the Ritual line. Right over here. I'm gonna do one side with a brush, and then once I just realized I only put orange in one eye. It's fine, I'll get the other one. I'm gonna use a brush for one side, and then I'm gonna use a finger for the other side. So that is it applied. Again, not blended very well, but just applied with a dry brush. Wonder what happens if I take some of this and then wet it. Ooh. She punchy. And that's what the metallic looks like, just applied with my fingertip. Ta-da! Okay, now I need to get some glitter glue here. You know what? I wanna do my favorite one. The one I was most excited about is the glitter I want to play with today. And then I need to like make this a cohesive look. I'm gonna use my finger and I'm going to wowza. Tati, not playing with the glitter. Dang. Dang dough. Dang that glitter dough. Okay, let's take another glitter. Because why not? I'm gonna take the chocolatey one, put that on the outside here. Just compare and contrast the two like brown shades. Yeah, definitely different. This one is much cooler toned. This one is more warm toned. Sorry. This one is more warm toned. This one's more cool toned. Okay, now I'm gonna make this eye look cohesive and I'll be back. Okay. I have been playing. So we'll talk about this eye while we apply it to this eye. So I've been playing around with a whole bunch of the different textures and the different colors within the same texture and layering and playing and layering and playing and just going back and forth and blending and everything. First of all, mattes. The mattes are so blendable on the eyes. Like I had like a line like right here where I went ham with the dark, like the Ritual shade and Story, the orange and the chocolate brown. And so then I took another brush and I blended it and it just disappeared. Like the line disappeared, but then it became like a gradient. Like the shadow was still on, but it like blended it. Beautiful. I'm excited what look I'm going to do tomorrow. As you can see, I've been kind of going back and forth, playing and mixing and applying them to the eyes. I also went in with the black shade as well. I just wanted to see how pigmented it was, how easy it was to apply, if there was a lot of fallout, that kind of stuff. So now I'm going to go in and I'm going to take Soothe and Ritual, the two browns, and start applying that to the crease. So in sort of playing around with this palette a bit, like look how dark that is. It's amazing. I think that this is a very great staple neutral palette. For me, I will continue to use this. I, just so you guys know, would have purchased this product regardless. Tati was very kind and sent it to me as part of PR, as you could tell with the PR package. But it was something I was going to purchase anyway. The Sequin shade it was very subtle. I want to try another one actually. You know what, let's just do it. Let's just take one of the Sequin shades. Right there. The glitter is so subtle. It's there, but like in such a soft way. Much softer than the metallic. Like that's the metallic right next to it, just for comparison. But the Sequin shades are very pigmented. Like I will say that they are not like just loose micro glitter. Like it does pack a punch with all of the concentrated colors underneath. Taking the chocolate brown and the terracotta and just bringing it down underneath the eyes. I had a couple of people ask me if this would be a good bridal palette. I feel like yes, like it has all of the elements in it in which I would use for bridal. Like I would probably stick to like 1, 2, and 3 play a little bit in here if it was me doing a bridal look on myself. Like for me anyway, I can see myself like sitting there with the big lashes and the veil, and you're like looking down. It's like your wedding day and you're all blushing. You have the big like pop of glitter on the lid. Like that big like pop on the lids would just be so impactful, I feel like. If you're into glitter on your wedding day, which I would be. I don't know why I'm doing inner corner now. I feel like it. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I'm using a wet brush, by the way. I'm using a little Fix Plus on it, popping it in. Does have a little bit of a pink tone, but I'm not mad at it. I went in with like a teeny tiny little brush. Oh, there he is. Look how small this guy is. This is a detailed lip brush from Sigma. Whatever. I'm like just dipping into Memory, which is the black shade, and mixing it with like a hair of Ritual. I just wanted to see what that would look like on the very, very outer like smoky area back here. Like I'm getting a nice smokiness to it, which I like. I'm not getting any fallout, which I appreciate. There's some other questions I have here that I can answer. How does it smell? It's a question that I got. Like absolutely literally nothing. And I have pregnancy nose, people. Like I would be able to, I have like the nose of a bloodhound right now. Are the shimmers pigmented? Yes, in different ways. So the sequin is pigmented in that it's very matte, like it's got a matte base with like a hint of sparkle. Metallics are pigmented, though I like them best personally with a wet brush. And then the glitters are just like, they're over the top to die for. How bad is the glitter fallout? Do I really need good glitter glue? I don't think you need like good glitter glue. I think it just like NYX has some glitter glues. Like you could totally use those, but like whether it was Tati's palette or it was any other palette, I would always use a good primer for glitter if you want it to stay on for a long period of time. What is my favorite shade so far? It's still this one. It's still this one right here. Take it to the gun show, everyone. I'm so muscular. Why am I pointing to my arm when I have it literally all over my lid? You know what I really want to test right now? Okay. I want to take this sequin shade, which is the black sequin shade. Look at that. Look how velvety that is. I want to put a little bit of Fix Plus on. It's like literally out in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to move because I want you guys to see this. Oh my gosh. Definitely, just based off of this one test, if you want to play around with the sequin shades, at least again, in my first impression experience with this, I'm trying to go in as in-depth as I can. I would use the sequin shades with some sort of wet binding ingredient. Like it really does, like it picks up that glitter more. It makes the matte more impactful. Gosh, my hands. It's just like, it's a disaster. Now I'm gonna put on a little bit glitter glue. I'm gonna take that same glitter on my hand. I like really like not heavy-handed when touching those glitters. They are creamy, but still they are like still loose glitter. Like I just touched my lid once. Do you see this? V impactful, many wows. Another person wants to know, is this wearable for everyday? Honestly, it depends on your version of everyday. Like if you're just gonna wear like one matte brown and that's it, then like no, don't buy this palette. Just use a bronzer, call it a day. But if you're someone who likes the look of neutral shades, that you want something that you can wear every day and utilize, but you want to experiment, you want to play with the glitters, you want to test a little bit and get better with makeup, this is a really fun one to do that with. Again, I feel like I want to reiterate this just because I think that this is really important. A lot of people are asking like, how fast, how quick, how easy is this palette for like a beginner? These are creamy. They are pigmented. That doesn't mean that like, I still think that they're very wearable for beginners, but you don't need to like go ham into the shades the same way that you would with a CoverGirl palette, for example. And what's different about this palette is that it is very blendable. Like I'm finding that the shades are very seamless, and if you put on a little bit and kind of layer it as you go, everything kind of just creates this perfect gradient, which is really, really nice. Is there any fallout from the glitter? Like I can see a little bit here, yes. I think that would be the case for basically any glitter. Like it's brushing away really easy. and there wasn't like an aggressive amount. I'm gonna mix tea, clutch, and lace. This is my the layers palette. So I want to pick up some of that pinky from the highlight in the eyeshadow look, but I also really like some of those golds and those, like, you know, nice soft shades, right? Ooh, okay, so the metallics and how they feel in comparison to Natasha Denona. Excellent question. So I'm gonna take the Ritual metallic and the metallic from Natasha Denona. They feel very similar in terms of texture. So the top one is metallic from Tati's palette, and the bottom is a metallic from Natasha Denona. As you can see, they're obviously very different undertones, so it's hard to do like a side-by-side comparison. But in terms of feel, they feel very similar in terms of the texture of the product. Ooh, this is a good question. Okay, what formula do you see yourself using the most? For me, if it was like an everyday type of thing, I would probably use mattes and metallics like the most often. But the ones that I'm most excited to like play around with and experiment more with are the glitters, obviously, because like, look at them. And also the sequin, because I like that they're a little bit different for me, and I like that I kind of was testing them wet and dry, and they have different kind of layerability elements to them, and I'm curious like to hear Tati's thoughts on the reason behind these particular shades. This needs a lip. Like how I said I needed a lip and I put on like a colored lip balm. Wow, can you tell I had a lot of fun playing with eyeshadows today? Wow. I will continue to play around with, experiment with these shadows, do some more looks. Maybe I'll put some up on IGTV. Go and check out my Insta story as well. I will be putting up another look for you guys so you can see how some other ones are wearing. And yeah, this is a lot of fun. Congratulations, Tati. This was beautiful. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If this is something that you're going to be purchasing, why not? Let me know. I'd love to hear from you. You can check out these videos on the side in case you have missed any. Subscribe if you haven't already. New videos here every single Thursday. And that's everything. I hope you guys are having an awesome week, and I'll see you guys all in my next video. Love you all. Mwah.